Hey, Instagram, hey, Facebook, and all other platforms that I'm currently live on. Super excited to be here for this brief discussion. I don't know how brief because baby girl is asleep, but really wanted to have this conversation. So as you come in, just drop me a hey in the comments. And if this is your first time ever seeing me live, just drop a first time. Welcome. Let me start off by introducing myself, and then we're going to get into the topic. Ooh. And I got a freebie for you guys as well. Number one. I am thrilled to be here with all of you talking about this today. So we're going to get into this topic, and it's basically the number one mistake business owners make on the path to 7+ figures. Hey. And so this is for my smaller or growing business owner family. So if you are growing a business, then you are in the right place. Let me see if I can get my phone plugged back up so we can be back live on Instagram as well. All right, let's get into it. Who am I? My name is Ashley Nicole Kirkwood. I'm a professional speaker and corporate attorney. I own Mobile General Counsel and an amazing brand called Speak Your Way to Cash, where we teach speakers how to land 5- and 6-figure corporate speaking contracts, leveraging things like licensing. I run this program. It's off the charts, called Speak Your Way to Cash Academy, the only one on the market teaching you how to use the paid methodology to start at the very top of the speaking market versus working your way up from the bottom. But my first passion, my first business, the company that I'm working in day to day, that we have employees that work for around the country, is Mobile General Counsel. I am an attorney, an award-winning attorney, and I talk to business owners building big brands on the daily. That's what I love to do. Those are the conversations I love to have. And so I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about something I've been talking to my clients about a lot, right? And it's what is the biggest mistake that I see 7+ figure business owners make and or emerging businesses make when they're on the path to that 7-figure mark. So working with Mobile General Counsel, it is a serious investment. And so most of the people that we work with are building or currently have 7+ figure brands. And the number one mistake I see people make is that they avoid what I call the business interrupters, okay? And this is gonna be critical for anyone who's building a business. If you're a business owner, just drop owner in the comments. Just drop an owner in the comments. And these business interrupters, right? These are the things in your business that you can't see necessarily. They're not things that you think about day to day, but that have the propensity to totally disrupt the business that you're building. And when I say disrupt, I mean shut down, tank revenue, totally take you off course mentally. These are almost, think of them as like little spears that are out there and at any given moment can totally disrupt your business. And a lot of business owners ignore these business interrupters for one reason and one reason only. We are under the misperception or the misconception that these things won't happen to us. And those are things like legal. But if you do not have your legal foundation secured, it can be a huge business interrupter. And I'm going to tell you guys a story that just happened to me in my business today. That could have been a business interrupter, but it was not, because we had our foundation secure. So if you are someone who wants to make sure your foundation is secure, just drop a secure in the comments, okay? And then I am going to break for a commercial break. I'm not going nowhere, but I got a little commercial for you all. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, broadcasting live from the offices of Mobile General Counsel, I will be hosting our firm's first holiday party, awarding some boss business owners who are building huge brands and who have overcome every business interrupter that could have thwarted their progress in the year of 2020. Because how many know that 2020 was a business interrupter all on its own? It did not need any assistance. So there are some people in my business that I have the pleasure of seeing grow who've been extraordinarily resilient. And so I am giving them a resilience award. And if you want to be a part of that award ceremony, it is 100% free. complimentary and open to the public. So you can invite everybody that you know, and you can just go to the link that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, ashleynicolekirkwood.com/holiday party. And I'm going to be doing an entrepreneur's address, giving out the awards, asking them some questions on a fabulous panel. And then we're going to have some networking. So in the platform that we're using, you'll actually be able to engage and network with some of the other folks who have signed on to attend that event. So that's going to be great. Make sure you come to that. Make sure you attend that. It's going to be a really good time. I'm excited for that event. And I'm excited for the fact that it is, open to all of you guys. All right, back to it. Let's talk about these business interrupters that people ignore and the number one mistake business owners make on the path to 7+ figures. So the number one mistake, right, is that they ignore these business interrupters. But what are business interrupters? A business interrupter in the tangible sense, I explained it generally earlier, but in the tangible sense, a business interrupter could be something like not having appropriate contracts in place. Here's how that shows up tangibly for business owners that are building big brands. Okay. You all may or may not know this. If it's your first time ever joining in on a discussion like this with myself, then just drop first time in the comments so I can welcome you and say hello. But some of you who've been here a little bit, who've been following me for a bit, who know a lot about the brands that I own, you know that for Speak Your Way to Cash, we help people land those 5- and 6-figure corporate contracts and speaking engagements. Now, what we see even with mega companies is that sometimes those organizations don't make you sign a contract, right? And for a lot of business owners, they're so excited to land these corporate deals that they either just go and download some agreement offline. They only make them sign a statement of work, but no actual contract. And so what they do is they're just like, oh, well, it's good faith. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to have them sign a contract. And I'm telling you, I have literally talked to people who have multi-million-dollar businesses who have never had an attorney review their contract until it becomes a business interrupter and something like this happens. There was a situation where at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of companies decided to stop payments on invoices because they didn't know what was going to happen. There was a lot of insecurity. And so all of those individuals that decided, or a lot of them that decided, oh, we're only going to work on handshake deals. We're not going to have our contracts in place, or we don't know the terms of those contracts. That contract was never drafted by a competent attorney who could advise me on what I need to have in my contract. Oh, when they don't pay you and you're asking them to pay you, they're taking their time. Well, they're taking their time because there's no real incentive for them to operate with any sense of urgency because you don't even have a contract. So now you're going back through your emails trying to see, oh, when did I tell them they had to pay by? How do I enforce this? What exactly will I be enforcing? And when it comes to contract interpretation, for all of you mega business owners out there, for all of you folks building big brands, right? Judges are going to look at the four corners of the actual contractual agreement. If all you have them sign is a statement of work and it's silent as to when payment must be made, etc., then they're going to have to look at other things. But if your emails are unclear and you have no clear way to determine this stuff, then it becomes very, very, very difficult for you to enforce those contract terms. So having a contract, not having a contract can be a huge business interrupter, because have a couple of years like 2020. When companies feel insecure and they're not necessarily quick to pay out all their invoices when there's a time of insecurity, what are they going to do? They're going to go back through, and what they actually tell, and let me just tell you, because my background is in representing billion-dollar brands at large firms in Chicago. And so what you do when there's something that happens and a company, a corporation wants to get out of an obligation that they believe they have, they scrutinize the actual terms of the deal. So if you are one of the vendors that does not have terms of the deal, then you're going to be out of luck, right? You're going to be out of luck. Someone says, would a purchase order be a contract? Here's what you need. You need an actual contract that delineates all of the terms of your agreement traditionally. And what I have seen, and it will depend on what your purchase order is, because everyone has different terms for what contracts are. So it's not so much about the name of it. It's about how does it function? What are the terms of that agreement? You could call something, because I've seen purchase orders that just have pricing information, right? And delivery terms, but not necessarily, not like, here's what does it have this? Non-disclosure agreements? Does it have confidentiality agreements? Does it have terms in terms of when you have to pay and what happens if you don't pay? Does it talk about non-disparagement? Does it say that you can utilize their name on your website or their logo on your website? Are all those things delineated? Does it serve as an additional sales tool? Does it talk about what they can and cannot do with the material that you are providing to them? Right? So if you're a corporate trainer, do they get to record your session and just replay it forever with unlimited license to that material? Or are there terms that govern that? So you want to make sure, because here's the thing, y'all. Let me just say this. What are we doing out here? A lot of us are out here to build big businesses. And as much as we like to say, oh, you know, corporate was a problem for me, or they did something wrong. What I have come to realize in growing a big 7+ figure business of my own is that corporations that are run well do things right for a reason. Typically, there are tried and true procedures that they go through. One of them is every single agreement goes through typically multiple rounds of edits with a competent legal team. And most companies, big brands, right, have both in-house lawyers and outside counsel. So I would say the purchase orders that I've seen typically do not function as contracts. I think my husband's here because I'm hearing feedback. They do not function as contracts, okay? And so you want to make sure that whatever you have delineates all of the key terms of your specific agreement, all right? That's going to be critical to your growth as a business. So let's talk about some other business interrupters. Contracts are a big one though. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, contracts protect your coins, okay? Quote me on that. Contracts protect your coins. If you are a business owner and you have not had contracts drafted by a competent attorney, not something you went online, Google, downloaded, didn't even read, then you are at risk for losing the money within your business. Every area of your business needs to have contractual protections around it in order for you to feel confident that that money is guarded, right? So one of the things that I do with my clients, and I'm going through the contracts that they need, is because people come to me, they've already made money in their business. We work with revenue producing companies. They come to us, they've already made money. And then they're like, all right, I've never talked to a lawyer, Ashley. I probably need 25,000 things in terms of legal protection. What's that going to run me? And I'm like, well, that's probably going to run you about 6 figures. That's going to be a lot of legal work. However, we have a subscription service, and that's between right now 5,000 to 15,000 per month to get you secured. But even in that, if you come to me and you need 50,000 contracts, I'm going to tell you how we evaluate where the red zones are in your business, right? And what are red zones? Red zones are areas in your business where you are bringing in a significant portion of the revenue that your company creates, right? But you don't have any protections around it. What would that look like for a service provider? So we work with a lot of online business owners, and they do, let's say, one-on-one VIP days, but then they also have a lot of digital products. And let's say 70% of your revenue is coming from those digital products. You want to make sure the terms and conditions on your website are correct. Your contracts are tight, that which people are signing in order to do business with you. And then you want to make sure, like in terms of, if you're like, okay, I can't do the subscription service, I just want to hire you to draft one contract template, which one can you draft, or which one should you draft first? We're going to draft and protect the thing that is bringing in the most money in your business first. That only makes sense, right? That only makes sense. Now, the exception to this may be that there are some areas in which you need to comply with laws. And if you don't have contracts in those areas, then you're out of compliance with some state or local or national law. If that's the case, then we're gonna go there. But it just depends. All of this is case by case. And of course, nothing in this video creates an attorney-client relationship. This is all for educational purposes because I want you all to be protected. And if you're interested in getting a legal audit with our company, then you can do so now at mobilegeneralcounsel.com. Just click on legal services, book consult, book a legal audit. We'll talk you through what you need to do first, second, and third, and develop out a plan for how we can help you get protected. But that is going to be a business interrupter, your contracts. Here's another big one that people miss, okay? Another big one is, and let me just, because you all know I'm on my phone all day and it just died right when I was going to go live on Instagram. So another big business interrupter is trademarks. And let me be really, really, really clear about trademarks here, because I think a lot of people think that business is a nice to have, not a need to have. And if you were, this is a huge business interrupter. There's two ways I see you will understand that IP can be a business interrupter, right? Number one, you get hit with a cease and desist letter in the middle of a huge launch, and someone is telling you that you are using a name that they own and you must cease use immediately, and they are going to sue you if you do not do so. I'm going to tell you guys something that most people don't talk about. And I'm going to be real, because I am one of those lawyers who stood in a federal courtroom advocating for a client in front of a federal judge, in front of a federal jury. So when I say people will sue you, I know they will. And if they do, they're going to get a bomb trial lawyer, such as myself, to represent them. And you may be out of luck unless you have taken the time to protect your foundation. So trademarks, intellectual property, here's how this goes south quick. Worst case scenario. You get hit with the cease and desist letter. You don't comply with that letter. They do, in fact, sue you. And there's something that happens during lawsuits called the discovery process. And there's some things that people can collect that most of you probably are totally uncomfortable with them protecting or collecting. And that would be information about your revenue. Information about your revenue. And so they may be able to get information about all the money you made in your business. Well, why would they want that? And why would that be pertinent to an intellectual property dispute? Because if they can prove that there was malice in your infringement, and as the Supreme Court has held recently, they may not even have to go that far. They can oftentimes collect, in some instances, the revenue that you generated utilizing the name that you were using because it infringed on their name. Now, there's all these different factors that have to be in place for them to do that. But when I say it's a red zone and your business is not being protected, I think you all think that we're saying that because we're lawyers. But let me be very clear. It's not just because we're lawyers and we want your business. I'm saying it because it's factual, it's true, and it happens. And people get sued every day of the week. It is a civil matter. And these are corporate things that we're dealing with. These are corporations. And so people value their stuff. Here's the other thing. People value their stuff even if you don't value yours. So you may think that it's not necessary to get some of these protections in place. It's not necessary to have counsel. It's not necessary to have a lawyer. But guess what? Someone else thinks that it is. And we have amazing clients on our roster. And let me tell you, they will call me in a hot minute if someone is violating any of their intellectual property rights, and we will be ready to fight for it. Lawyers love a good fight. We're not scared of fights. We're not scared of confrontation. That's what we do. Like, I had an issue recently with someone who, did something that I thought was in violation of a contractual agreement. And I was like, oh my goodness, I think that people think that we won't sue out here, but we sue people. That's what law firms do. They do that. They handle that. That's not a problem for them. And so the way that you deal with, and this is just business, right? The way that you deal with a business dispute is you try to resolve it amicably first. Typically, there's some type of a cease and desist letter that's given out. But if it cannot be done amicably, your only venue, the venue upon which you are going to get justice, right? The way you're going to get justice in a business dispute is by going into a courtroom. Oftentimes, that is the traditional avenue to get justice. And that involves a whole lot of money being spent on both sides, regardless of who's right. And oftentimes, a lot of these issues could have been avoided if you would have just taken the proper steps in the beginning. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes we start building businesses and we don't have a vision for how fast that business will grow. And so we think that we're just building something small and all of a sudden it blows up. I want to challenge every single person watching this video to see their business as grand as they can and then ask themselves, is it worth protecting? Like, get the biggest vision of your business that you can get. Because before you can build it, you have to believe in it. And if you believe in it, then you're going to protect it because you understand what you're building. Sometimes, though, we're just so busy in hustle mode that we totally ignore these business interrupters that have the propensity to take our businesses under because we're so busy. But I would implore you, because we're at the end of the year and it's time to reflect, and we're visualizing and doing our visions for 2021 and 2022. And some of our clients are working on their 5-year plan, their 10-year plan, which is exactly what I think people should be doing. Not just 1 year, 5 and 10. You want to think through, is my business even is it foundationally in a position to level up the way it needs to be? And that would require you to have some legal foundations in place. And if you don't have them in place, the good thing is you can get them in place. So these aren't things that you cannot overcome. These aren't hurdles you cannot overcome. And unless you plan on going to law school, you should get it done with a lawyer. Don't Google your way through this one. It's just too important otherwise. So I want you to think about these legal protections, these contracts, the trademarks, the copyright, that stuff that I'm saying that you need. I want you to think about those things, not in terms of like, oh, it's this legal stuff, it's nice to have. I want you to think about it in terms of things that you need to have, because those are the very things that can serve as business interrupters, revenue tankers, and all types of other things that you do not need, okay? And so think about legal in terms of business interruption. You do not want business interruption. Flip side. This is something that I strategize with my clients, because look, not all lawyers are also strategists, but I am a lawyer who is both. I am a lawyer and I am a strategist. So one of the things that we strategize about is how can this contract serve to sell the products and services that you are attempting to sell in the marketplace? How does it serve to not just protect you, but better position your offering in the minds of the clients that you are presenting it before? This is critical. There are certain provisions in the contract that you have in there that can also serve as a sales tool to alert the client about other offerings that you have. And it's all in the phrasing. Lawyers are always big on language, right? Like that's our thing. We are wordsmiths, okay? And so there is a way in which we draft our contracts to ensure that we are positioning our clients for greatness, even outside of just like the bare legal terms. And I'm gonna just give you all a preview into this, because this is something super dope that only Mobile General Counsel will be doing. We're about to launch a really dope way that we're gonna write contracts that's unlike anything on the market. It's gonna disrupt the industry, but not disrupt business, if you know what I mean. So I'll keep that under wraps, but I'm working that out with my associates. We're gonna get that done. But here's the key, guys. You're building a big brand. If you're building a big brand, just drop a yes. Drop a yes in the comments. Drop a yes. I want to see if you're committed to it. Are you building a big brand? Drop a yes. And oftentimes I get on these lives and I'm like, drop this in the comments. And I say that because it's so easy to get out of committing to the things that we say and putting it out there into the world. And I have been in the position in my life where I haven't said things out into the world because I didn't want to be accountable. I didn't want to be accountable for if it didn't happen. And that's just fear. So I'm over that now. And I'm building a big brand. I will commit to that verbally. I don't even want to put like a revenue limit on the brand. So I'm big on like 7 plus figures, right? We're not going to stop at 7. Come on, why would we do that? So I want to make sure that you all know we're building big brands here. Okay, I'm seeing the yeses come through. If you're building a big brand, or because all of you watching this are building a big brand, you need to protect that thing fiercely. And I'm going to put it to you like this. What is one thing that you care about, that you love, that you've invested in, that you spent money in, that you don't invest? Drop it in the comments. One thing that you don't invest, that you care about and you put a lot of value in. What is one thing you do not protect? One thing that you don't protect, that you value, that you put a lot of money in. I can't think of anything that I value that I don't protect. I love my marriage. I value it. I protect it. I value my business. I protect it. I protect my business with legal. I protect my business by hiring the appropriate coaches and consultants. I protect it by hiring the appropriate employees, which we have, and by keeping out the wrong employees, which we do. We absolutely do. Another thing, and I'll say this because if any of you are in the hiring phase, just put hiring in the comments. Some businesses are growing. Some businesses are staying still on the hiring part, but we're in the hiring phase. And one thing that I've noticed with hiring people, sometimes through that process, you have to talk about things that are proprietary to your business and or to see whether they can even do the job. Or you want to do a test with them, or you want to like test out their expertise. You need to have every single person that steps foot in your company sign non-disclosure agreements if you are going to talk about anything proprietary. That's just a part of the protection phase. So if you're going to talk about anything proprietary, they need to sign a contract. All right. And I see you're hiring. If you are going to, and here's the thing, and I'm gonna just tell you all my situation. I have been interviewing a lot of people. In order to do interviews appropriately, I have to tell them about some of the vision, some of my company's vision and strategies that we're going to implement. And sometimes you hire people on as contractors or as employees or people who are going to do discrete projects, and they hear something and they're like, oh, that sounds like an amazing idea. Actually, after doing more digging, I would like to do that myself in my business. You'll get sued doing that over here at Mobile General Counsel and Speak Your Way to Cash. It'll be a nice lawsuit, well written, well positioned, well poised, but you will get sued doing that in my company. And the reason you'll get sued is because you have already signed a non-disclosure agreement, because I protect all proprietary information. And the minute someone in my company leaves, and this is why you need a lawyer who is a strategist, you need a process by which, if you're going to interview and you have to share certain information, we need to strategize about that to make sure your stuff is protected. And if you're hiring, if you have employees, you will have to fire people. Huh. Let's just be real about that. You absolutely will. I have people, if you're going to do anything in that process, the process, to find out whether they're going to work for you, you're going to share with them things or show them things or have them do a test. You may need to have them sign something well before they're hired. Before you get a check, before you get, you're signing documents if I have to share anything with you. And for some of the projects that I hire people for, I need them to understand certain things before they can even do the work appropriately. And so you got to sign an agreement. You're not getting me on that. So this is why you need a strategist. How's your hiring process? 1, is it legal? 2, what are the steps that you're taking? 3, what are they signing? Was it drafted by an attorney? And then if you have to terminate, what is the process by which you're terminating? Some people don't realize that there is things that you need not say in the termination process. There is a particular way. My background, before I started my own company, I worked as an employment lawyer and a litigator in a Chicago law firm, 2 Chicago law firms. And people don't realize the level of strategy that happens before you terminate someone. How do you do it? What do you say? What do you give them? Who will be in the room? These are the types of things that billion-dollar brands are talking about with their counsel before they terminate. What do they have access to? What don't they have access to? What shouldn't they have had access to? What is the security protocol? What's on their computer? What shouldn't be on their computer? How do we trace what they've done? How are we looking at the emails that they've sent out? Because look, and here's the other thing. That hiring piece is big. Do you even have the right to look at their email, to look at their computer? Are you paying for their device? Are you paying for their phone? Are you paying for their computer? These are the things that we think we're absolved of sometimes as growing businesses that we are absolutely not absolved of. And here's the other thing. Corporate may have done some of us wrong, which is why we left and started our own companies. But the reality is we need those corporate protocols in place in order to grow. It is extraordinarily difficult to grow. It almost feels like you are carrying cinder blocks up a hill if you are trying to hire without the appropriate counsel and the appropriate procedures. And if you are a virtual business, which a lot of our clients are, and you have employees in a variety of different states, we need to analyze each of those states' laws as it relates to employment. And you may have to get local counsel in each of those states, right? Because there's different laws that apply. So you want to be really clear that you are abiding by all of your local, state, and federal laws as it relates to hiring. It is a big deal. And you can open yourself up to fines and worse if you do not do that. And so you want to make sure that you are doing the right thing. Okay. That's just that. Hiring employees, that can be a business interrupter. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, especially because the employee theft is real. Independent contractors violating their agreements is real. And so I had a situation with someone that I thought I was going to hire several. I thought I was going to hire, look good in the interview, seemed like it was going to work out, but they gave me indicators that possibly they wanted to do something in the business that was untoward. And if you as a CEO, this is just not even about legal, if you get any indication that someone that you are about to give a check to has ulterior motives about your business, cut it in the bud quickly. Do not bring that person on. I think it was Amy Porterfield or maybe it was Mariah Cos, but one of them, I was listening to them on their podcasts and they were talking about I think it was Amy. It may have been Amy. I think she said something like every single person that comes into your company, you need to be super excited about. That changed the way that I thought about hiring because I've done some hires that were like, I think they could get the job done, right? Like it wasn't like an overwhelming joy, but I think recently we've shifted to only bringing people in who we were so excited about, and they talked to various people in the company before coming in. We need processes for that. And you need to be really careful about, one, what you say in interviews, but then two, what are you exposing them to prior to them having a contractual obligation to you, because you do not want to leave yourself open. And trade secrets are those things that make your business run, and they're unique. And it could be things like client lists or proprietary ways that you get clients. But if you don't protect it, it loses that value. It loses that distinction and that designation. So you absolutely have to do, and these are, look, this is just high level conversation. And these are things that we talk about with people who are building these huge brands. And I want to introduce you to some of those folks. I want to introduce you to some of my clients building 7+ figure brands who have brick and mortar businesses, online businesses, employees all over the world. They're doing amazing things, helping people all over do better. And I'm going to introduce you to some of those folks tomorrow at the holiday party. It is 100% free. If you're on Instagram, click the link in my bio to attend. If you are on Facebook, click the link here, or LinkedIn, click the link here to attend. I really do hope to see you guys there, because we're giving out resilience awards. And I have an award, but it's up there. I'm not about to reach up there. But I am hoping that you all can come to this event and enjoy yourself and hang out. So let me tell you what's going to happen. Since we've talked about the big mistakes that I see people make, here's what's happening tomorrow at the holiday party, because 2020 has been a year, okay? Whether it's been a good year or a bad year, it has been a year. I will tell you that. And my baby's waking up, so I'm about to go. Holiday party. I'm going to be doing an entrepreneur's address. A powerful message for entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur and you want to hear this address, you need to be at the holiday party. It's going to be a powerful message directly to entrepreneurs to give you the encouragement that you need to go into 2021 and build a solid brand. This speech is going to be epic. I'm just going to put that out there. And then I got to live up to it tomorrow. But it's going to be good. I'm giving an entrepreneur's address, right? So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to bring up these powerhouse entrepreneurs and award them with a resilience award. And let me tell you guys, these folks are stellar. I hand selected each and every one of them. They've either done business with the firm or their current clients, and they're outstanding. And the things that they have overcome, of course, I can't say it because I'm their lawyer. Maybe they'll share tomorrow. But some of the things that I have seen them navigate through with such ease is just, it's off the charts. It's off the charts. Yes, I'm so glad you found me on Clubhouse too. It is off the charts. And so we are going to be doing that. And then here's the other thing we're going to do, because I know that connectivity is so critical, and it's something that we've been missing in 2021. If you've been missing connectivity, just drop a C in the comments for connection. If you've been missing connection, you've been missing connectivity, drop a C in the comments, because I'll just be honest with you guys. I have missed connectivity. I haven't hugged my mom in weeks or maybe even months at this point. I have not been connecting with people that like I used to. And I was just about to do a speaking tour, coming to a city near you, talk about this stuff live. And now I'm not able to. So because connectivity is important, we are going to have a networking portion for an hour on the Hopin platform. You can actually zap into the networking portion and you will speed network with different people. So you'll have 2.5 minutes to meet different folks who are attending. We have hundreds of people registered. Hopefully everyone can attend and register on the platform and get over there. Even whether you meet 5 people, 10 people, or 50 people, you are going to meet some dope people tomorrow night. And I'm super excited about it. I'll be networking and hanging out with you guys. Christelle will be there in her holiday dress. She has a holiday dress, so she'll be there dressed to the nines, and it's going to be a good time. So hopefully you guys will join me. It's totally free. Click the link in the bio on Instagram if you have not already. If you're on Facebook, click the link here, but I hope to see you at the holiday party. If you're an entrepreneur or a speaker or anyone else who's building a big brand and you do not have a lawyer that has your back, then you need to DM me ASAP. Get a legal audit booked. Go to mobilegeneralcounsel.com. We'd be more than happy to help you do that and get you secured and protected if we can help out. All right. So that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, just, shoot me a note. Tell me it was helpful. Drop helpful in the comments. We can come on here and have more of these conversations, because we're going to start talking more about, just to give you all a lens into my content. I realize I've been playing with y'all. I have so much expertise as it relates to how I've seen in those boardrooms how billion-dollar brands handle their legal strategies, how legal intersects with marketing, how these things are getting done, how these conversations are held and why they're so important and how it helps them to generate additional revenue in their business with a solid legal foundation. And I just haven't been having those conversations live. And so I'm going to bring you into more of that higher level conversation, because what I believe is that if you are in business and you survive 2020 as a business owner, your business is primed to only go up. Like, it can only go up. Your resilience will be rewarded. And so we're going to be giving out resilience awards. I'm going to have more of these conversations live and bring you guys into that discussion. And I'm just excited about it. Now, off subject. If you all are on Clubhouse, my name is Ashley Nicole ESQ. I'll be holding a conversation tonight at 6 p.m. Central entitled How to Make 7 Figures as a Speaker. So that'll be good too. So if you can make that, it's tonight. If you are watching this on the replay, you may have missed it, but no worries. Listen to the Speaker Ready Cash podcast. It'll give you some info on that there. But otherwise, guys, that is all I have for you. So thank you so very much for joining. I do not take anyone's time lightly. I know how valuable time is. But have a good one. I will see you at the holiday party. Again, just go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/holiday party, and I will see you there. Have a good one.